Hello, welcome pen friends. I'm back with a very different sort of video. I wanted to talk today about One Book July and specifically about how I'm doing with it. And I'm a very, very late comer. I'm like, this is their 6th year and this is the first time, and I was 3 weeks late getting involved this year even. But still, I thought it would be worthwhile to talk to you about what I have already discovered about how my bullet journal is now working better for me after 1 week of trying this. So first, if you don't know what One Book July is, it's a challenge, and it's a challenge put out by 4 very talented women who are on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, everywhere, and they use the hashtag One Book July, and for this year you can find it hashtag One Book July 2019. So I'm going to link you to okay, so it's Romany, Miss Vicky B, Carrie, and Mimi, and I'll link you to Miss Vicky B's introduction of this year's challenge, and then down in her description is everything you could need to find the related videos, which is what I did for the first 2 weeks of July. And then in the 3rd week, which started on the 15th, I started trying this in my bullet journal, even though I was late and knew that I was going to fail the challenge overall. I started trying it. So this year, every year there's a little different spin, and this year they're reading the Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll. Now, I didn't realize this. I didn't know until pen friend Sharon asked me, did I know about One Book July, and did I realize they were reading this book, because she knows that I have it and I love it. I love his ideas. So they're reading this, and that goes along with the challenge. So, and then the other, what I understand is the challenge is more, it's about focusing on your system versus all of the bling, all of the notebooks, pens, traveler's notebook covers, leather stuff. It's putting that aside and really focusing on one book, your main one for journaling, bullet journaling, whatever it is you do, and seeing how it's working for you. Maybe even trying something different. But I really want you to go and see what they've done, because they're the talent and the idea behind all of this, all 4 of them. And it's just amazing what I learned from watching them. So I'll get right into my bullet journal, because I'll show you that I kind of started on Saturday let me make sure you can see it. Saturday the 13th, I started very tentatively, because what it is I normally just do a weekly spread and a monthly spread and collections and things like that. But I had sort of not even slowed down long enough to try Ryder Carroll's idea of doing rapid logging. And as you can see, it turned out to be about half a page, but not every day. And I allowed myself, no matter what, if I needed 2 pages or a whole page or whatever, I just said to myself, whatever it takes. But already I felt more comfortable. And let's see if we can flip back on to, okay, so I was doing this the very week before, a weekly spread with little to-dos and then some journaling. And I was already, I was okay with that. But after watching one of Romany's videos, and I can't remember which one it was, but I bet it would stand out to you title-wise even if you look at hers, I realized, oh, I'm missing this opportunity to just quit worrying about the prettiness or the, columns and stuff, and just get on the page. So, but quickly I realized that it was helping me, that I was capturing more ideas. And also I realized, well, I'm just doing to-dos. So I started making a few notes here and there too, because you can do to-dos and notes and events, everything. So then came my first super busy day, Wednesday, July 17th, and oh, the freedom of having that whole page was super, just absolutely super. And I filled it right up, and I did have a little room for journaling down at the bottom. So it was just wonderful. And then I kept going. And by the time I got, okay, Saturday was another super busy day. And I tried to keep it simple, and I did pick one pen. I just couldn't choose on fountain pens, so I just got out my Pilot Dr. Grip. I knew it had the black ink that I wanted to use, and I just went for it. I have been using Diamine Earl Grey in a fountain pen for a long time, but I just wanted to just stop thinking about what I was using. So Sunday didn't turn into a very busy day, but I let the page be, and I'll come back in and maybe do something there. Okay, then as I was reading in the book, I started to, because I skip all around, I just can't seem to just, I read it all the way through once, back in, I think it was December. I read it all the way through, so it's not like I hadn't read it, but I'm slowing down this time, but I'm still skipping around. Anyway, I did a yearly review because that's how my books run. This is my third one, and I'm nearly done. And so for August, I'm moving into a new bullet journal. It just seems to be that's exactly, it usually is the 1st of July, but I'm grateful I have a few pages left to play with, because what I want to do is, really know what's working for me. So I made the list he recommends, what worked, what didn't work, what I want more of, and what I want less of. So, I've got a long list of what worked, and that's good because now I know. And it was very helpful to write down what didn't work. So the 2-page weekly spreads, I quickly found out over the course of, 8 days or so, that wasn't actually working, but I still wanted a weekly view. And then I was more concentrated on stickers and washi tape and, rulering everything. And I was also maybe doing a little bit too much diary type stuff. That's what I see as I took inventory. Ink spread in ink journal. Oh yes, and I have an ink journal, which is got something in it that really should be in my bullet journal because it's a project. So that's when I realized, okay, I really need to migrate that into my new bullet journal. Good thing I realized before I started, because then I can decide where I want it. It doesn't really matter, I can index it, but I underutilized my index, so that was another one. Stuff was hard to find. Well, that's because I wasn't really using my index the way I should. I was using it. I was also doing gratitude separate from my bullet journal, and I think I need to add that in here somehow. I haven't figured just yet how, but I need to, because I was falling down on the job with the gratitude writing, and that's important to me. Pen pal letter tracking didn't work because my method wasn't right. I need to find a new one. Oh, and where I was using some places boxes, I'd rather just use dots. So then I said, do less of stickers, decoration, less decoration, keep as separate. So that was another idea that Romney brought up, was there's no reason why it can't be in here. Just, it's most likely going to be better for my mind if I keep those kinds of things separate within the book, but not all over the page, because that becomes my focus, trying to make it look beautiful. Color writing, prefer gray and black. Yes, I looked back on my other 2 bullet journals, because this is my 3rd one. I looked back on these 2, and I realized that it was just, it was busy to look back and read back, because it was different colors all over. And for me, for this type of book, I like the colors up in the corner, like for the numbers, the day numbers, things like that. Keeping it more simple is easier for me to handle, and stop trying to conserve paper. So I ended up making a simpler weekly for this week, just so I could have a look at the week. And we have something happening tomorrow, and there are a few other things, but I knew I was going to do this video, and I didn't want tags just all over covering it. People are sensitive, and I've got, people I'm writing to, and I don't want to, I don't know. I don't open my bullet journal up too much, and put it on video. But so today has been sort of laid back, not as heavy, but I've got a video done. I've got my ink votes. The ink votes are all in, and that announcement video went out. And I did some laundry, but I've got plenty of room, and looks like I'm going to wind up going into Tuesday here. But let's look back, because that's what I was going to do. So this is my monthly spread. And I would say overall my monthly spread has worked for me, but I do sort of a what happened, kind of a 1-sentence journal over here. And over here I run it almost like a planner, just anything I do know is going to happen. This spread didn't make me happy because I didn't end up liking how it shouted at me with these stripes and things like that. And I could have made it simpler. I have a simpler one, but there's just so many names and numbers and everything on that, I can't flip back to it. So, let's see then. Okay, so I showed you this. This was kind of how the weekly looked. Nothing wrong with it at all. I was recommending it right up till I started realizing that it wasn't everything that I needed for sure. Oh yes, and I started doing this too within this time frame of reading the bullet journal method over. I started realizing it could really help me to have a place to put in what I plan to do for videos and what I published. So I haven't done this week's yet. I've just got a bunch of blanks, but I know I'm just trying not to give away so my viewers can be surprised. And I knew I wanted to do this video. This is take 2. I had a disaster with the first one. So, you know, I've been running a series and I was working on that. So I don't have to do this next time, but I do want to have a monthly spread where I can look at what I'm doing with my channel. It makes me feel like I can relax and not be so worried about what's going on. So this is what happened. This is a direct result of, you know, reading the book and giving it a try, the daily rapid logging, and just giving myself more space. I didn't end up using this except for the tiny bit of that busy day. I'd already filled some of this in, and then I guess I had something, you know, an appointment here, and who knows, probably a telephone number. That's why I had to, you know, cover it. So it's pretty, and I like stickers, and I like this, but it wasn't serving me. So then I did a mental inventory, so that was cool. And it's my first one, and I need to learn to migrate things. So that was cool. And then, oh yeah, Wishlist. That also gave me relief. And I know I'm running Wishlist too many different places. I think that whenever I, you know, get done with one in my bullet journal, I can just create another one and index it, you know, and cross-index it, but keep it in one book. Because having one over here in my ink book and in my bullet journal, it's just too much. So I meant to mention too, I'm not really one for, you know, it's not like I use hundreds of notebooks at a time, but I generally have my traveler's notebook that's a passport size for my eating. So this is really working for me. Like, this gives me the little passport sized notebook to write every day my carbs, what I'm eating, and also my fasting schedule. So I always write it down so I know what I did, and it's just working really good. So I'm not going to mess with that no matter what. You know, that stays in place. And then I have a messy process notebook that I was doing pretty much what I'm doing here. The only thing that I might keep that for might be when I talk to my mother, I take notes that wind up being really messy, and I don't need to take those notes in my bullet journal. It would take up too much space. But as long as I transfer them right after we talk, or have this book available and make sure if there's an action item that I need to do for her, that I get it in here. So that's what I wanted to talk about, was how it's hard to put into words how much it's helped me. And so I thank Sharon, and I thank these 4 ladies for putting out this challenge and doing all the videos that they do. So much of their content is just free and there for us. And I was already watching Miss Vicky B for years now. I've watched hers. I must have known about One Book July, and I must have just dismissed it as something that I could never do. But it's so cool once I started to open my mind just enough to try it. And I think it was because of this book, because I know that I'm underutilizing my bullet journal, and that it has helped me so much, but I feel like I'm probably only about 10% of what it could help me. Should I be, you know, spend some time to focus and really implement more of these ideas, which, you know, I have them all kind of scrambled up in my brain. That's how my brain works. So I'm a little bit regretful that I'm, you know, 5 years and 3 weeks late, you know, getting involved in One Book July, but yet totally so grateful that it's now and not never. You know what I mean? Like, I found it. Next year I'm going to be ready ahead and participate fully with it. But I don't know why, but I just was driven to do this video to mention it in case it helps someone else. You know, it's not like what I'm doing here. That was the other thing. Well, it's not like what I'm doing here is so fancy. It's not. It's the opposite. I came into bullet journaling not knowing about Ryder Carroll right away. I mean, I knew the reference that he was the creator, because everybody's been so respectful about, you know, linking to his site and saying he's the creator. And so I knew that and had seen a couple of his little short videos. But I really, my introduction was the community and the beauty, the artistic stuff, which it's beautiful. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's not me. The only way I'm going to get that is stencils, stickers, washi tape, things like that. You know, I'm just not going to have those kinds of spreads. But that's what I thought bullet journaling was. And so it was so refreshing to hear just, you know, several videos from the ladies here that makes me realize that there's just so much more to it. And that it's okay however we go about it. So I can't give it justice. You got to go see them. So I'm going to link you to Miss Vicky's video where she introduced this year's thing, just in case you didn't know about it. You probably do if you're watching this video, and maybe that's why you're watching. But I wouldn't want anybody to miss out on learning more about it, and sometimes it just takes a little tiny crack in the, you know, in the hard-headedness of ourselves to be open-minded enough to try something. So I'm glad that I did and am. I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm going to move into this new bullet journal for August, because I counted my pages, and even if I go crazy, I have enough to finish July, and then I'm moving right in to an official bullet journal, Leuchtturm dot grid, and that's going to be for August. And I have my beautiful Protect Your Peace sticker on the front. So I just feel great. I feel like, wow, I already loved my bullet journal, but now, thanks to, you know, really taking several evenings to watch all these videos, and I'm still doing it. I'm still, every chance I get, I'm going back, way back, because I've gone all the way back to 2015 and watched some of the videos. You guys are just amazing. And so late to the party, that's no problem. You know, just go. If you want to find out more about it, and if you bullet journal and want to get even more out of it, or whatever you do, planning, journaling, bullet journaling, the whole 9 yards. So I better stop talking now. This has got long enough, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.